Hey there, it's Laurel Beard, and I am here today for the Blitsy creative team. I'm going to be doing some stamping with wood, the Ken Oliver color bursts, and I'm going to use those awesome Molotow, don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but those masking pens. It's a liquid masking pen, and it's fantastic. I made this card last week, and you see where it says Make It Beautiful? I used the masking pen for that. I also used the color burst in just one color sepia. I used this wooden token from Maya Road to create this card right here last week. And I got so many emails asking for a video on this, so I thought I would go ahead and pull one together for you today, creating a card similar to this using these products. So I'm going to start with a piece of watercolored paper here. I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz watercolored paper here on the smooth side. This is an index card, and I took a butterfly die that I had that I got off the shop there. It's by Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I went ahead and ran that through my die cutting machine just on an index card. I need it as a mask basically. So you can die cut that on any kind of paper that you want, but I just had this index card lying around and it was perfect. So I ran it through my die cutting machine, and I'm adhering that down with some post-it tape. You can use washi tape or any kind of tape that's not super sticky so it won't rip your paper when you peel it up. But I just want to make sure I get all that secured to my card there. So I kind of mounted it on there at a little angle. And then I'm going to take the masking pen. They come in two sizes, and I'll show you the sizes in just a second. And you can see I kind of primed it a little bit. I did a little pump off to the side on my craft sheet that I'm using there just to get the liquid flowing. And then it comes out blue, so it's fantastic. So I can see what I'm doing. And I love that this mask is in a pen format. There are other liquid masks on the market, and I've been using them up until this product was made. But this is by far the easiest way for liquid masking, in my opinion. I absolutely adore it. It is very quick drying, and there's no smell. So here's the two different sizes. It's a 2mm tip and a 4mm tip. You can see the difference here. I have both. I think they're fantastic. And there's also refills available as well, I believe. So I've gone ahead and applied that right through that mask there, and I'm just going to peel up the mask I no longer need it. So I've got the actual die cut, and then I've got the negative space. I used both for this. And then when you peel it up, you can see all of, I'm trying to be careful when I'm peeling it up so I don't rip my die there. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry out. This stuff does not take long to dry at all. It probably dried in a matter of minutes, to be honest with you. But I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to show you how I stamped with that wood. Now that's a wooden token. Any kind of wooden shape or anything that you have will work for this. I just want to kind of show you up close how great that liquid mask is. It's just a fantastic product. I was super excited about it. So I'm going to take that wooden token. It has this beautiful image etched into it, a butterfly and kind of a little plant. And I'm just putting that into some white pigment ink that I have. Kind of smushing this down. I got this idea on how to stamp with wood because I wasn't sure from Ken Oliver himself, my man. So I've got that pigment ink down. It stays wet longer, so I'm taking my color burst in the color sepia, and I'm just spritzing it right onto that that little token there with that pigment ink, and that pigment ink is going to hold that color burst in place. I'm going to take a water mister. I spritzed it a couple times just to activate the color burst, and then I'm just going to start stamping. It's really just that easy. So you want to ink up your piece with some kind of pigment ink, a light color. Probably Versamark would work as well, something sticky. Spritz your color burst, tap it out however you want to do it, and wet it with water just to activate that color burst, and then just start stamping. And I am in love with this color sepia, in love with it. Do you see the other color? There's browns, there's blues, there's all different hues of brown. I think this is gorgeous, all from one color. It is unbelievably cool. I love it. And it's October, so it's fall, so I'm keeping in with the fall theme here. Then I'm taking the rest of that sepia that's on my mat. I just added some water, and I'm just going to flick on some colors for some water flicks. I love the look of these little water flicks here. I do it on a lot of my cards. I hope it's not boring to y'all, but I just love flicking it on. I also wanted to show you, because in the other card I had some hemp tied around it. I'm not going to do it for this card, but I wanted to show you that you can even color your twine or your hemp or your cord, whatever you've got. So I just, again, have that petal of sepia color burst there. I just spritzed a little bit more water, and I'm just rubbing this around in this petal until I get complete coverage. So I used up a lot of that sepia from my craft mat. I don't like to waste anything, so I just found ways to use it up. So now I need to add some color around that butterfly so you can see the defined mask. So I'm taking the die and I'm placing it over the mask there that I already put down just for placement purposes. I only need the negative space, and what I mean by negative space is what that index card is. That negative space there, because I need to go in and add some color to that, because when I remove the mask, I need to be able to show the shape. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. It's going to make a little bit more sense. So to make sure I get my negative space in there perfectly, I went ahead and put the die cut piece in first. Then I placed the negative piece over the die cut just to make sure I get good placement. And then I'm going to peel that die cut up because I don't need it. I simply was using it for placement purposes. So I'm going to use that same tape I used before. And then I've gone ahead and peeled up that die cut. I'm sorry I didn't show that in the video, but I went ahead and removed that. Now you can see why I have my negative space there, because I need to go in and add some color to that butterfly. And by putting in that die cut and then putting the negative space in over the top, it helped ensure that I was putting my negative space here in the right spot. So I've got two different color distressings. These are the minis. I'm using Rusty Hinge and Wild Honey. And I've got this little mini sponge dauber thing. Any kind of sponge that you have will work. And I'm just going in and adding two different hues of brown. And I love using distress inks because it's super easy to create some really good shading. So the Wild Honey is the lighter color, and then the Rusty Hinge is the darker color. So I'm just going back and forth until I get, you know, the look and the blending that I want. And then I'm just going to peel up that negative piece there. And look, you can see the butterfly shape has taken form. I just think it's so cool. But I didn't want all this white on my card here. You know, I started off with a white piece of cardstock. So I'm going to go in with some gathered twigs. I'm using a round blending tool by Ranger, and I'm going to go in and add some gathered twigs all around my card. Just filling in all the white except for where the wooden pieces that we stamped, there's a butterfly image in there. I wanted to keep that white. So I'm just carefully going around and adding some of that gathered twigs just to fill in a lot of that white space on my card. It will also intensify that butterfly mask when I remove the Molotow. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. So as a finishing touch, I'm just going to flick on a little bit of water here because distress inks react with water. So that just kind of adds a little bit more to the card here. And now it's time to remove the mask. So to remove the mask, all you do is you take your finger. You can also probably take an eraser or an adhesive remover and just push the mask away. It comes off very, very easily. I am being a little careful. I'm not applying too much pressure because my card is still a little bit wet from when I flicked on the water. Probably should have let that dry all the way, but I have zero patience. So I'm just kind of removing that with my finger. It's just so easy. And then you can see the image left behind once that mask is removed. So that mask protected everything underneath from the color burst, from the distress inks, from everything. It just keeps everything completely protected. Isn't that neat? I love it. And the pen is just outstanding. It's so easy to add your liquid mask now. I'm going to be liquid masking everything, I tell you what. So I've got a black marker here. This is a Copic multi-liner. Any marker that you have will work. I wanted to intensify the antennas of the butterfly. So I'm just going in and tracing over that with my black marker. This is a 0.3 millimeter tip, I think. And then we're just about done. We are. Now it's time to, you got to add it to a card base. So I'm just going to use a Nina Craft cardstock. You can see it's ripped right here. No worries, I'm going to cover that right up too. I didn't want to waste my paper here. So I'm just going to use that as the base of my card, and I'm going to adhere the panel that we just created right over the top. No one will ever know that that piece was ripped a little bit. Now sometimes when I put my panels over the top, I don't line it up perfectly. As you can see here, I didn't. So I just grab my scissors, or you could use your paper trimmer, and just trim off the excess. Nobody will ever know. And as a finishing touch here, I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers corner rounder here, and I'm just rounding all four corners. Kind of softens it up a little bit. And that's it. You've got this nice little wooden piece you can use for another project. I didn't think it would look right on this card, so I'll just use it for something else. But that's it. I love that masking pen. I love the Ken Oliver color bursts. I think it's so cool. So thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, and I will catch you next time for my next video. Have an amazing day.